Here's the text with the timestamps and specific minute references removed. By mid-season, I feel like we all knew that she was going to break this record if she kept consistent. And what makes this record so funny to me is that some of her biggest haters called her out during the beginning of the season, and there are these tweets that are now going viral. Remember those tweets ridiculing Caitlin Clark, the player who claimed she would never lead the league in assists? Well, guess what? Clark broke the WNBA single-season assist record with an incredible 3,177 assists. Yes, 3,177, but here's where it got really interesting. Those same critics who had doubted her went silent and vanished entirely, but in the meantime, her performance spoke for itself. She wasn't just fantastic. She rewrote the WNBA rookie playbook, and we're going to show you exactly how she accomplished it. Caitlin Clark passed more milestones in her career, the first being the single-season assist record. Let's go back in time and watch how Caitlin Clark converted those skeptics into believers. Do you recall the tweets that rocked the basketball world, saying that she couldn't lead the league in assists since she didn't age well? Some of her biggest haters called her out during the beginning of the season. It all began with a tweet from D. Carrington. Jai Carrington tweeted, "It seems harmless enough, but the reactions that followed weren't encouraging at all." The former assistant record holder, Alyssa Thomas, retaliated and Cheryl swoops in nicely, using a series of laughing emojis instead of any words. Swoops replied to her with a bunch of laughing faces. "We're not done yet." A few weeks later, Jai Carrington tweeted that these WNBA legends were virtually laughing Clark off the court before she even stepped on it. Again tweeted, she said, "Those tweets catch on quickly." Everyone had an opinion, and most of them weren't nice to Clark. But this is where things start to get interesting. As the internet was ablaze with questions, Clark was busy disproving everyone. These tweets are now resurfacing and going viral. Clark's assist totals continued to rise week after week. It wasn't just a hot streak, it was a full-on assist avalanche. In every game, she was finding teammates by threading passes through impossible gaps, and the most absurd thing was that she made it appear simple. You could see the anticipation rising as Clark got closer to the record. Would she succeed? Could a rookie truly lead the league in assists? 317 assists is not only a new rookie record, but also a new WNBA record for the single-season assists period. The world held its breath until it happened. Clark didn't just break the record. She smashed it. This is a WNBA record, not just a rookie record. She set this in her first season in the WNBA. There's something better than breaking records, do you know? Following Clark's amazing accomplishment, there was nothing but Carrington, Thomas's crickets, and swoops. No congrats, no acknowledgements. Just a deafening quiet from the naysayers. Nobody from this group that I just mentioned, Dijone, Alyssa, or Cheryl Swoop, said anything about Caitlin breaking the record, and I'm sure that they probably won't. Now, you may be wondering, alright, so she's skilled at passing, but what else is she capable of? Hold on tight, because assists were only the start of Clark's dominance. She was about to prove to everyone that she was capable of much more than just providing help. Clark used help to silence her detractors, but some players continued to have doubts about her. When one opponent asked what she brought to the table besides three-point shooting, Clark responded with a feast of records that made her detractors regret what they had said. Recall that Kennedy Carter's push wasn't only a shove, rather it was a challenge. Early in the season, in a moment that ignited social media, Carter struck Clark down. It went viral. She said she didn't have any regrets. If you guys also remember, angels seemed to be cheering her on. However, the real fireworks were still to come. You might have thought Carter would have backed off after that viral moment, but instead, she went all out in a post-game interview, challenging Clark's abilities and asking that now-famous question, aside from three-point shooting, what does she bring to the table? Remember, in an interview around that same time, Kennedy Carter came out and said, besides three-point shooting, what does she bring to the table, man, when she was talking about Caitlin Clark. And I just think it's so ironic and so funny because, obviously, she brings a lot more to the table besides three-point shooting. She is also getting her teammates involved. Clark had the option to respond on Twitter and conduct a heated interview, but that is not her way. Instead, she let her game speak for itself, and boy, did it scream loudly. In the subsequent games, Clark wasn't satisfied with simply breaking the assist record. She had to prove to the world that she was more than a one-trick pony. After scoring her first points, Elle began to stack them up like she was playing an easy-mode video game. She didn't just play well. She rewrote the rookie record book. She broke the record for most points ever by a rookie. So, Caitlin Clark has broken the WNBA rookie single-season scoring record set by Simone Augustus 18 years ago with 746 points and counting. She was making veterans look like rookies in game after game, but she wasn't finished yet. Then came the double-digit games, which are performances in which a player hits 10 or more in several stat categories. Clark made them appear routine. She wasn't just having good games. She was having games that were historically good. Another record that she broke was for the most double-digit games by a rookie with 34 games and counting. However, this is where things started to get really interesting because as Clark's numbers continued to rise, people began to become more excited and weren't just wondering if she would play well. They were also wondering if she would make history once more. One more funny record that she broke just within this game. Clark then went on to score 35 points in a game that had everyone on the edge of their seats, but it wasn't just a fantastic scoring night. It was a statement because with those 35 points, Clark not only won the game, but also eclipsed Sheryl Swoopes' career high. She records a 35-point game in her rookie year, passing Sheryl Swoopes' career high of 34 points in a single game in her entire career. Take a moment to consider that. The same person who uttered those final emojis, Sheryl, had to watch as rookie Clark outscored her previous scoring record. If that doesn't calm the skeptics, what will this? It just goes back to the people who have been hating on Caitlin Clark. And again, I feel like it's a select few that have been unapologetically hating on Caitlin. With all of these accomplishments accumulating, you have to ask how the league failed to notice that Clark wasn't just playing excellent basketball. She was also revolutionizing the game. However, as teams were getting ready to submit their awards, the Fever realized they had a problem. Not only was Clark's season fantastic, it was absolutely phenomenal. When a player's accomplishments are too large for the page, what should you do? To put it simply, WNBA clubs create elaborate media packages for the season-ending awards each year. They resemble highlight reels, but on paper, the majority of players' achievements fit neatly on a single page. If you liked the video, then please give a like to the video and also subscribe to the channel. So the teams right now are sending out PR packages, media packages for the WNBA end-of-season awards. The Fever sent out a package with their picks for certain awards. They have Caitlin Clark for Rookie of the Year and All-NBA. They have Kelsey Mitchell for All-NBA. They have Aaliyah Boston for All-NBA. And they have Lexi Hall for Most Improved. When the Fever sat down to list Clark's accomplishments, however, they hit a wall. One page wasn't enough, and 2 pages weren't cutting it either. They had to get creative, so they created an entire presentation deck specifically for Clark. Can you believe it? A rookie with so many accomplishments needed a PowerPoint. On this little stat card that you see, one of the media people took a photo of it and tweeted it out. On this card, it lists all of these women's accomplishments. And you'll see in Caitlin's category, the text is very, very small. And then at the end, it says, "Can't read all of Cecce's accomplishments? Scan below for a better view." You read correctly. This card has a whole section devoted to Clark's accomplishments. However, as you might expect, it states that you cannot read all of Caitlin's accomplishments. For a better view, scroll down. They seem to be saying that although we made an effort to accommodate everything, there's simply too much excellence in this. It says, in a rookie class of her own, Caitlin Clark ranks among all 2024 WNBA rookies. She is first in points per game, averaging 19 points a game. First in field goals made, 230. First in assists per game, second in defensive rebounds, first in steals per game, first in three-point field goals made, and first in free throw percentage. You may now be wondering what Clark specifically did to get this preferential treatment. Hold on tight, because the stats are astounding. Clark broke 22 league or franchise records in her first season, which is not only a record-breaking accomplishment, but also a rewrite of the entire record book. Scroll down, it says 22 reasons, and this is 22 league or franchise records that Caitlin has set. But let's take it a step further. Among 2024 WNBA rookies, she is not only excellent, but also in a class by herself. She leads the league in assists per game, second in defensive rebounds, first in steals per game, first in three-point field goals made, and, to top it all off, first in free throw percentage. But some of the records, that's about to me. I love that she broke the WNBA single-game assist record with 19 assists. That is all WNBA. She did that in her rookie season. I love the record where she had the most all-star votes of any player in the history of the WNBA. And, of course, the league record, the fastest player in WNBA history to record 300 career assists, doing it in just 35 games. It seems as though Clark glanced at the rookie leaderboards and said, "Yeah, I'll take all of those, thanks." She's not only winning in 1 or 2 categories. She's crushing them all. Her performance is the kind that has you wondering if a legend is about to be born. Caitlin Clark by the numbers, which gives you just more accomplishments that Caitlin Clark has had in her rookie season. What does all of this mean? Well, it's obvious that Caitlin Clark isn't just the best rookie this season. In fact, she may be among the best WNBA rookies ever. The key question is if being the best rookie is sufficient, or if Clark is going for something greater. And with all of that, it really got me thinking, is she the greatest rookie of all time? I know that we have seen on multiple podcasts where they have talked about her being not only the greatest WNBA rookie, but the most impactful and most influential rookie across the board in any sport. Are Caitlin Clark and LeBron James truly comparable? It's a bold assertion, but the data supports it. Attendance is skyrocketing, social media is ablaze, and everyone is now talking about the WNBA. But here's the real deal. Perhaps Clark's influence is greater than King James' own. How is it possible? Well, it all boils down to one important distinction. And a lot of people were comparing her to LeBron James, saying, was LeBron James the most influential rookie, or is it Caitlin Clark? And I think that the argument won on the WNBA side can be made, and it's so hard to compare eras of basketball. And I think if you look at her stats, if you look at it on paper, she is up there with the greatest of the greats. The NBA was already a major force in the world before LeBron joined. Michael Jordan played there. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird clearing the path. But the WNBA has been vying for attention ever since, which is where Clark enters the picture. She is not only joining a well-known league, but she is also changing it in front of our very eyes. He was, on the front of Sports Illustrated, the chosen one. It was like a magazine cover. What was it, like a $100 million deal, or something with Nike? The LeBron James effect was insane, and that was 20-some years ago now, right? Caitlin Clark is at that level. And the only way I think that she might have a leg up on LeBron is because she has elevated an entire attendance discussion. This season's WNBA games are packed, and it's not simply because the popcorn has improved. Fans are flocking to arenas to see Clark perform, and the fervor-driven crowds aren't limited to Indiana. It seems like Clark has her own traveling fan club somewhere. The numbers and the new eyeballs on the WNBA this season are actually wild if you think about it. This is unprecedented territory with the WNBA, and you would be crazy to say that a lot of that doesn't fall on being because of Caitlin Clark. Clark's social media game is on point. Her highlights are going viral and accumulating views and shares faster than you can say three-pointer. She's not just playing basketball, though. She's also producing content that people can't stop watching, and guess what? All those views are translating into more eyes on the WNBA as a whole. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but is this just a flash in the pan? Well, experts say that Clark's influence will last a long time. They're comparing her to Tiger Woods, recalling how Tiger made golf cool for an entire generation. He has made such an impact on the WNBA at a similar level as to somebody like we've talked about in other videos like a Tiger Woods, where he elevated golf so much. Because of him, so many other men got paid so much more and so many more eyeballs were on the sport, and that is the kind of impact that Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA. Consider it first Tiger. Tiger changed the perception of golf as a sport for old men in funny pants by bringing in new sponsors, fans, and a whole new level of excitement. Now, Caitlin Clark is doing the same for the WNBA, making women's basketball a must-watch TV show and encouraging a new generation of young girls to pick up a basketball. What's the final verdict? Is Caitlin Clark truly changing the game like LeBron did, or is she doing something even bigger? One thing is certain. We're witnessing history unfold before our eyes, and if Clark continues, this trend continues. We may need to think of a whole new comparison because the LeBron James of women's basketball might not be sufficient to describe what she's doing. The NBA, for the most part, has always been quite popular. At least in the past 20 to 30 years, the NBA has been popular. It has been profitable. These men have been making millions of dollars for as long as we can remember in recent history. The WNBA has not done that. They have started flying in private planes this year. The attendance numbers are way. Did you notice what Caitlin Clark just accomplished? She not only set new marks, but she also completely rewrote the rookie playbook. Let's examine why Clark's season was so remarkable with 317 assists, 746 plus points, and 34 double-digit games. These are statements, not just stats. Clark dominated every category, not just one, but this is where things start to get interesting. Thanks you subscribe the channel.